Let's see who the early birds are, or the late night owls. Hi, Daniel. Arthur, night owl. Well, it's just gone 7:30 here in the morning, and I've just woken up in a lot of pain. I just need a distraction. You guys are my distraction. Good morning. Hot cup of coffee. Morning, Truth. Oh, dear me. I think this morning I'm going to try some Bombay Extra, which Tim sent me a while back. It must be about 2 a.m. where you are. Well, I suppose it depends which area of the States. Pipes that I made. Well, some of the pipes you may not have seen. This is a diamond shanked bulldog Rhodesian. It's kind of a hybrid, like a Dublin Rhodesian kind of idea. It's my first decent attempt at a diamond shank. There's my stamp. Turned out really nice. Very happy with that, considering I've not really done many diamond shanks. Here's another one. It's rusticated, smooth, rusticated. And finally, so that's some of the recent pipes that I've made. Thank you. Yeah, this may well be. It might already be sold. Somebody. Good morning, Dion. Somebody contacted me yesterday and said that they wanted a pipe like this one, which is my one. So I made something similar. Made a few adjustments. This area here I made a little bit thicker. If you have a look, it's quite a bit thinner over here, and I feel it's a little bit weak. All pipes were shipped, Truth. All pipes were shipped yesterday. If you want, I can even give you your tracking reference now. If you give me the last digits of your postcode, I can tell you, I can give you your reference number if you want, or if you drop me a short email, I'll email you back with it. These are all the references of all the pipes I shipped yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pipes. Well, actually, it's more than 11 pipes because some of them had more than one pipe in it. I shipped off about 16 pipes yesterday, I think. 907, how you doing? So, some Bombay Extra. This pipe here, this is a Boswell bent billiard. I bought this pipe really early on. Will you get them today? Where are you in? Are you in London? Are you in the UK rather? So that's 2016. So it's somewhere between 4 and 5 years old. OJB. Oh, so you're in the UK, so then you probably will get it today, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, that's out for delivery for today, should be. I haven't tried the heat patch. No, I've just been on a cocktail of painkillers, really. Morning, Graham. I think it could well be that the after having a night's sleep, the painkillers have worn off. I woke up this morning in a lot of pain. Just couldn't find a comfortable position. I went downstairs, tried to sit on the couch, couldn't get comfortable there either. So I just figured I'd have a pipe. Anyway, so this is a Boswell bent billiard. I had a whole variety of stems on here because this wasn't known. This is the original stem. I converted the mortise a while back and just used other stems that I had. But I just decided that the time was right, and I put a 9mm tenon into this stem, and it's really good to have the original stem. It makes it, I don't know, it just feels right. The balance of the pipe just seems better. So we'll see what this Bombay Extra is like. Tim, Wolf Valley Boy or Hermit Piper used to like this. So I tried lots of these Latakia tobaccos a good few years ago, and my palate has matured a lot since then, over the ensuing few years. Generally speaking, you can, Daniel, you can convert them. Hey Tony, if you know Art from Artie's Place, he's done videos on converting Savinellis from 6 to 9 mil. I recently did a trade with somebody and got one of the matches 860 Savinelli, Friday Savinellis. So at some point I may well convert that to 9 mil if I decide to smoke it. Bucket of smoking. Good morning, Stabby. I hope you don't live up to your name. Yes, I have tried GLP's quite nice. I think I even have a few dregs of tobacco left in my tin. It's a nice tobacco. And if you're in the States, then if you like that, then there's no need to really find anything else. If you look way back in my channel, way back, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I did a 3-way review of Quiet Nights, Star of the East, and Penzance. And on that particular day, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but on that particular day, I preferred Quiet Nights. So there's really no need to be on the hunt for anything else. If you like Quiet Nights, stick with that. If you're in the States, you can get it. It's readily available. If I could buy it here easily, I probably would as well. But I'm pretty well made up with my Boswell Northwoods. It serves me well. If I get a hankering for something like Penzance, I do have some Penzance, but I can also smoke Germain's 1820 flake, which is the British cousin of Penzance. It's not exactly the same, but very similar. Yeah, Stabby, in that case, just if you like it, just stick with Quiet Nights. Don't give yourself the whole anxiety of trying to get Penzance. It's very nice, but it's really, it's another tobacco. It's a very nice tobacco. It's a great tobacco even, but it's not something that you need to turn the world over. And trust me, it's a journey that I've been on, and I continue to go on. If I can get hold of it, I'll get it, but I don't go around chasing it. You've got people still, literally, on websites and on mailing lists for shops, and they're chasing it every single day. And if you're enjoying that chase, then go for it. There's a lot of people out there who say exactly the opposite. They say don't chase it. Don't give yourself the anxiety. I say if you enjoy it, then chase it. If you don't enjoy it, there's plenty of tobacco out there that you can enjoy. Truth, the best way to do it is to get somebody over in the States to buy it for you and to send it to you and declare it as anything other than a tobacco item. That's the best way to do it. Alternatively, you buy it from a shop that will pack it as friendly as possible. So Boswell's is pretty good with that, although the last my last shipment of Boswell I got nabbed by customs. I just got this yesterday. This is 10 ounces of Northwoods. So this is November 20. That's my most recent batch. the batch before that. This is from December 19. This one got through no problem. At the moment, I think I've got 4 different years of Northwoods. And I think this is the first one that got nabbed. Excuse my coughing and noises, it's just my early morning clearances. Yeah, these are interesting stems. Nice and fiery. Daniel, I do that fairly often. Revisiting tobaccos from the past is definitely a good thing to do, but it's a good thing to do if you still have it in stock. Again, I don't think there's really any tobacco out there that's worth turning the world over to get, unless it's a tobacco that you really like and it's one of your regular rotations. I think, like many of us, if you have a tobacco, you don't like it, you've opened a tin. More often than not, what happens is you end up having an open tin or a baggie, and you stick it in an airtight container, and it sits there. And in many cases, that's how I end up with aged tobacco. It's a tobacco which perhaps I didn't like. I stick it in a container. I come back to it 2 or 3 years later. It's got some age on it, and it could be a completely different experience. I've got a handful of LJ Peretti tobaccos which I haven't really liked. I'm not sure how well they age because there's a lot of burley in them, and they also come very dry. I do feel, I don't know this scientifically, but I do feel that it needs a little bit of moistness in order to age well. But I might be wrong in that. So that's a tobacco that I want to revisit. I've got 3 or 4 different Peretti tobaccos which I ordered a while back. So that's something I might do. I've got the Thanksgiving from 2017, which I didn't particularly like. HH Perique, yeah. Perique anyway is going to be a vapor presumably, so it's going to be a Virginia Perique, so that's going to age well anyway. I'm not sure which pipes you're talking about, Tony, but these are a couple of recent ones. No, it's not the Gemini, no. Excuse me. The website continues to be developed, Daniel. It just needs more time to sit down and develop certain things. I'm in the process of getting it up and running for purchasing, so that you can purchase direct, so it's connected to a bank or connected to PayPal, that kind of thing. So we're getting there. It's a bit slow progress, but we are getting there. It is lcsprize.com, but it's not up at the moment. It was up. It kind of goes up and down during the course of development. Well, in terms of my clenchability, if there is such a word, of the pipes that I do, I've developed my own kind of how I finish off the bite zone on the pipes that I make, and it's now become a fairly standard procedure. This one here is a good example. So what you get is a rounded sort of contour on the front. This area here, the bite zone, where you put your teeth, that's now standard on all my pipes is at 4.5 mil, which I feel is a very comfortable height. Very nice and smooth on the front there, so there's no hard edges when you put it into your mouth, on your lips, on your tongue. All very nice and smooth. It's very nicely sort of contoured here for a very smooth and comfortable feel in the mouth. And you can see exactly the same thing on this one. Same idea, 4.5 mil. These will all be filed down to be exactly 4.5 mil. Again, really nice and rounded and comfortable. And what I'm also doing is I've now started making the draft hole wider on the stems as well, so it gives a really nice wide open draw. Beforehand it was about 4.5 mil in the shank and about 3.5 mil in the stem. And what I've started doing now is I've got actually, which I think it was Jordan, Prairie Smoker, it may have been Eric, I forget, or Sea Smokes, that sent me some tapered drill bits. So what I now do is I drill. It starts off at around 4 mil now, going down to the slot, and that just gives a much more open draw. So overall, the comfort of the pipe should be spot on. So those two are acrylic stems. Sorry, those two are ebonite. This one's acrylic, but exactly the same sort of profile on the end on the acrylic one. So that's going to be a feature which hopefully people who buy my pipes will be able to come to expect if they buy another pipe, that they'll get exactly the same comfort. Yeah, 907, that's you know, the more pipes I smoke, the more I realise that is actually, in terms of smokability, probably the foremost reason why you might reach for a pipe. That's why I'm putting so much emphasis on it. It's the bit that you interact with. Excuse me. It's the part of the pipe that you're in constant contact with. It goes without saying, obviously the pipe has to be able to smoke, the drilling has to be good, and you want the bowl itself to be nice and smooth. All of that goes without saying. But in terms of what you're in touch with the whole time, it's the bit. Daniel, give me a chance, please, to answer other questions. I can see your question. I'll come to it. I have been in touch with Mike at Briar Blues. There are problems with import taxes and stuff like that, so I'm working something out with him, and hopefully I will get some pipes to him in the near future. Smoking some McClellan's Bombay Extra, which is a tobacco I got from Hermit Piper, from Tim. I got this, I don't know, it must be a couple of years ago. I imagine I tried it at the time, but it's actually really quite nice. I've been exploring Orientals a lot more recently. And what I find is that I like them depending on what they're mixed with and how they're mixed. I find in some tobaccos and some blends, the Orientals give you a bit of a floral profile. And sometimes that's not so nice. It starts to veer towards Lakeland, which I don't like. But when it's in a Balkan blend, for instance, then it's fantastic. It just gives it another dimension to the flavour. So to go with the smokiness, it almost gives you like a sweet sour sauce kind of flavour profile, and that's really good. Yeah, I probably won't do pea lips, Daniel. They're too difficult to make. Those are all. I would imagine those pea lip stems are made by machine, I would have thought. Yeah, I can understand that 907. If you smoke an Oriental forward blend, then you can get that sometimes. Again, it will depend on what it's partnered with. If it's partnered with Perique, for instance, then it will enhance that sourness. Sometimes with some blends, which have got Orientals and Perique and Latakia, sometimes I get it almost like a sour milk flavour. It's really sour. A good example of that is Royal Jersey by JF Germain, or And So to Bed, Esoterica, both made by the same company, of course. But I find that to be very sour, and I find that those blends actually give me heartburn for some reason. Don't know why. So I tend to stay away from them. The Royal Jersey one, I think it's original Latakia possibly, or it's the purple tin. Well, I'll tell you what, distraction certainly works. And this morning, about 40 minutes ago, before I came on, I was in such pain with my sciatica. I couldn't find a comfortable position. I got out of bed because I couldn't keep still because of the pain. I went downstairs, tried to sit on the couch. I couldn't keep still on there because of the pain. Came up here. I'm still in pain, but my mind is off it. Distraction is a pretty powerful thing, isn't it? I haven't been in my car since Thursday, I think. I just don't feel safe driving at the moment. Having said that, I think there is a very slight improvement. Either that or it's just that I haven't been on my meds yet today, but it's really bad this morning. Mind over matter, exactly, Tony. The mind is something unbelievably powerful. We haven't even scratched the surface scientifically. Yes, truth. Thank you very much. You have indeed distracted me. You drive me to distraction. Yep, that's definitely on the cards, Daniel. I'm going to be really not too keen on driving the Mazda anymore. I'm pretty sure that's what caused all of this. Either way, if I do drive it till I manage to sell it, I'm going to be getting in and out very carefully. Once I'm in it, I'm fine. It's just the getting in and out. For some reason, it's so much lower than any of the other cars that I've had. I've really got to crouch down to get into it. Saturday night. They've got some amazing guests. Honestly, I mean, that channel, the Virtual Pipe Club, is a relatively young channel, but they managed to get some amazing guests on there. The glitterati of the pipe world. And that guy really had a lot to say. Obviously knows the industry inside out. Once again, excuse me for my clearances, clearing my throat and that. It's the morning. You know what it's like in the morning. You've got to clear all your airwaves. Morning, XJ. It's 8:13 here in the morning. Watch City Cigars, yeah. I have to be honest, I hadn't heard of him before. Good night, 907. Sleep well. p.m. Oh wow. Whereabouts in the world are you, XJ? Yeah, Tony, that's usually Tasmania. Okay, so you're down under. Down under. Tony, that's usually what I'm doing, is keeping the night oil burning. I'm usually on some Americans live at 2, 3 a.m. Excuse me. The tobacco I've really been enjoying recently is McBaron's Vanilla Cream. Really good. Airdrop, thank you. I don't smoke plugs that much. I must be honest with you. I don't like the preparation of them. I don't like the flakes, the bits, the size of the flakes that you get when you break it apart. I do have several. I've got some Seattle Pipe Club, plum pudding, Mississippi River. I prefer flakes or broken flakes, or even ribbon cuts, depending on which they are. So, to give an example, this vanilla cream is basically a ribbon cut. It's a loose cut, but it's also got bits of flake in there, and I really like it. Daniel, you can sandblast anything. It's just a question of what the finish is going to look like. So if you have a look at, for instance, the Danish pipe shop, they've currently got on the Stanwell listing. If you have a look at the Stanwell pipes, they've got the pipes of the year for 2021, for 2021. And the pipe of the year you usually get as a smooth, as a rusticated, and as a sandblasted. You get a selection. Have a look at the sandblasted ones, and you'll see that a pipe which doesn't really have a good ring grain, but they've sandblasted it nonetheless, and it doesn't look good, in my opinion. But have a look at it, that'll give you a good idea. They've got some which are carved, like a brushed look, and but I looked at them all. I look at the Danish pipe shop all the time. Although I don't buy that many pipes, I still buy pipes, but not that many. But I just like looking at all the new pipes that come in, even for inspiration. So I'm really quite familiar with the stuff as they get it. And if you have a look at those sandblasted pipes, those are an example of bad sandblasting. When I say bad, it means not making the best out of the pipe. So presumably those pipes were not perfect. The briar wasn't perfect, so they couldn't have them as smooth pipes. But the ring grain, either they just didn't bother sandblasting it enough to bring out that grain, or the pipes were the wrong part of the pipe of the briar to get a good ring grain. When I make a pipe, oftentimes I will see the ring grain. If you look at this pipe here, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the shapes going across. Can you see this? Can you see sort of like a transparent pattern? That's the ring grain. So this one you can see will sandblast very nicely, and it will give you a nice grain. Maybe not on this side so much. You tend to get it more on one side than the other. When you get a ring grain going all around the pipe, that's just something of beauty. I actually like it sometimes more than a smooth pipe. So I think, factory pipes that are sandblasted, they tend to do them maybe 20 or 30 in a batch, and they'll go into some kind of rotating barrel, and they'll just be blasted with sand for a predetermined amount of time. And however it comes out, it comes out. They don't have the time or the ability to look at each pipe and determine exactly where it's going to be sandblasted. You can often see the ring grain exactly X-ray. But here's a good example of a nice ring grain. This is a Parker. And it's got a really nice pronounced ring grain. And it's also a very early pipe of mine, which I really, really like. But it's got a lovely ring grain, beautifully done. That's, for me, a perfect example of a ring grain. You can go a lot deeper. You can get a Jim Cook pipe, for instance, or a lot of the other American carvers nowadays are doing some really fantastic sandblasting. And please God, one day I'll get a sandblaster and I'll try my hand, and then at that point you'll see my preferences. Hey Shimshon, Boker Tov, how you doing? It's so great to get you on alive, finally. Mortar sandblasted, I actually prefer it smooth. I think it's much more, it's a matter of personal taste. But this is, the base of this is mortar, and I just think it looks beautiful. I think that when you sandblast it, you end up losing some of the beauty. That's just my personal preference. I think you can appreciate the grain in this when it's smooth, more so than when it's sandblasted. It is a very nice material, Shimshon, but it's not the best. It's not the most reliable in a pipe, because depending on the density of it, you get wildly varying densities with mortar. And if the density is not right, then you just burn through it in no time. What's the temperature like in Israel, Shimshon? Yeah, it's whatever you prefer, XJ. Would I consider making a motor with a Meerschaum liner? I would, but I don't really have access. I mean, I could buy more Meerschaum, but I've got no experience as of now turning Meerschaum. And I'm just really focusing on Briar. Even mortar, I've done a few pipes. I've sold a few pipes, and I've got a few mortar blocks in the garage, but I've had issues with them. I had a couple of mortar pipes which I've made, sent out, and were fine. And then one I sent out to a customer, and in a very short while, customer contacted me and said it's completely burnt through. I asked them to send me back the pipe, and it was just completely. It was like ash inside. So I repaired the pipe as best as I could. I put a very thick bowl coating in there. I also made him a new pipe, and I sent them both back to him. And obviously the new one I coated myself before I even sent it back. So hopefully that one's serving the customer well. Yeah, exactly, Shimshon. Briar is the most reliable material for pipe. A lot of people prefer Meerschaum in terms of the smoking quality, but they're kind of fragile. And certain tobaccos taste better in Briar. There's no two ways about it, to me anyway. At the moment I only have one Meerschaum, but I've got another one on the way. I should be getting one in a couple of days. It's a custom order which I had made by somebody in Turkey, and it's been personalised, and when I get it you'll see it. And being that it's been made specifically for me, maybe I'll spend more time smoking it. At the moment the only Meerschaum I've got is the Pipe Club of London Meerschaum. That's the Pipe Club of London. Colouring up a little bit. I don't smoke it often enough to really colour it up. But this is a lovely pipe. It's fantastic carving. Good morning, John. No cigar this morning. I'm smoking a pipe at the moment, and I'm smoking some Bombay Extra, which Tim Hermit Piper sent me a while back. Yeah, Shimshon, there it is. When you're dealing with multiple textures, it can be difficult. See, when you're doing it like this pipe is another pipe I just finished recently. When you're working like this, where you've got two distinct regions, you can easily access it. But when it's like this, when there's one layer between others, it's a bit like the Orion, isn't it? The Ark of the Covenant. Different layers, except this is just one piece of briar. It's quite stacked as well because of that. So that can be difficult. So for instance, when you're sanding this area, you've got to be careful not to sand that area. So it can be a little bit difficult at times. But this one, like this, nice grain on this pipe. Well, if you like bird's eye, I actually sent out my 3-star pipe, one of my 3-star pipes. I sent it out yesterday. The guy who got it got an absolute bargain, because the sale video that I did recently, I reduced all of the prices, and I sold that one for £185, and that's my starting price for 2-star pipes. That was a 3-star, but I sold it for the lowest 2-star price. So in my opinion, the guy got a bargain. So this is, if you like, bird's eye. This is my other 3-star pipe, which I've got at the moment. The grain on this is just outstanding. Really getting the hang of the stamp now. I'm really happy with it. Shame I didn't find that company straight away. This is an amazing 3-star pipe. It really deserves 3 stars. It's a nice, good size. It's a nice armchair pipe, this one. Oh, you've got it, Truth. You got a bargain. Seriously, I didn't even realise it was you. So I wasn't saying it for your benefit. But to be honest, that was the bargain of that sale. There's lots of good priced pipes there, but that one, absolute bargain. I don't know what my pipes will be worth in the future, but that one, whatever the state of my career in pipes, that pipe will always be worth money, in my opinion. You're a lucky boy. I hope you show that pipe off, Truth. I don't know if you do videos on your channel or not, or if you're on Instagram or any of those, but that pipe needs to be seen. It needs to be shown. So we were talking about Orientals before. Always nice to get a bargain. This one here, Regent's Flake, that's an Oriental Ford, Virginia Oriental. It actually smells really good. It reminds me a little bit of Sunbear. Trying to decide what to smoke now. Actually, Truth, you're quite right. I said, when I made this pipe, I said this was my first 3-star production pipe. I had made another 3-star, which was the Memorial pipe, the Matches 860 pipe, but it wasn't a 3-star based on the quality of the pipe. It was just more of a memorial thing. But I did say this was the first one, but you're right. Your one is the first one, because I actually made that quite a while ago. But I wasn't happy with the stem, and it was sitting in my garage in a drawer for a while. And you can see on the pipe number, I don't remember the pipe number offhand, I can tell you in a second actually. Why can't I see my comments? Hang on. Here we are. So that one, pipe 193. Okay, the one that you bought was 193, and I'm currently around 230. So that's 40 odd pipes ago. So that's going to be a few months ago that I made that. But I wasn't happy with the stem, so I made a new stem for it. I put a new stem on it, the green one. I think it actually works a lot better than the previous one. It looks a lot better, and I was just a lot happier with it. And you know, that's something which I do quite often. is if I'll make a pipe, something just won't feel right. I'll set it aside, come back to it another day. You know, your creative juices work differently on different days, and it just um, it just worked. I put a nice, beautiful emerald green stem on it, and it just worked straight away. So I basically reintroduced it as a 3-star pipe. I don't know why I didn't have it as a 3-star to start with, because it was just an obvious contender. I suppose it was because of the stem. XJ. At the moment, this is the only stationary pipe that I have. I have thought about making a series of stationary pipes, but I haven't yet. I probably won't smoke this. You know, I'd rather it get sold, or maybe I'll hold on to it until I've got a stationary set, maybe. But if somebody offers me, you know, the right price for it, I'll probably be tempted to sell it. Yeah, I mean, this was originally started its life as a bridge pipe. So if you imagine without that base, so if you see there, that would have been quite a nice freehand Dublin shape. But I wasn't happy with the thickness of the walls. I just thought they were a little bit too thin. So I took the bottom off the pipe and I made this mortar base to go underneath it. And it just ended up being called the stapler pipe. But it's got a lot of uniqueness, a lot of interest, this pipe. Obviously having that mortar base. It looks a bit like a planer, yeah, you're right. This looks like almost like a gold slab with hallmarks on the bottom. I like the way that looks. And so you've got obviously a nice plateau top. I drilled through there and then decided to texturize it, and it's got a really nice, interesting texture going all the way through, which in itself was a bit of a challenge. And then I extended that sort of halfway into the briar, so you've got this sort of darkened section here. It's almost like looking into a cave, and it's textured all over on the inside, exactly the same all the way through. No, Shimshon, this one started its life as a bridge pipe. You see pipes, freehand pipes, where you've got the bowl and you've got a thin layer where you keep the plateau, and that's known as a bridge pipe. You can have them without the hole, you can have them with the hole. I set out originally, there was nothing wrong with this piece of wire. It would have been too big and heavy. It needed to have some of it taken out, and it holds very, very well like this, with your thumb through there. But it's a bridge pipe, essentially. But I call it stapler simply because of the way it looks. But if you imagine it without that, you know, it would have had a completely different look. It would have had the look that I originally intended. If you imagine it without, it would have had a different look. But this is unique as it is. Oh. I need to shift around, hang on a sec. No, the intention wasn't to have the mortar base originally. I only added that after I felt that it's handed too thin, the briar, so I just wasn't happy with that. Alright, well, people, I've got to start my day as much as I'm able to today. I'm going to say thank you very much to everybody. Yes, Daniel, that's a good idea. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Shimshon. Thank you, XJ. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Truth. Thank you, John, for joining. Nice to see you. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Sleep well, XJ. And everybody else is about to go to bed. Daniel, pleasant dreams. And I will catch you on the next one.